So I actually have a topic today.
Ooh,
I wanted
all
to bring
right.
it. It's been something that's I kind of feel like we've touched on before, but we haven't really got into the nitty gritty. Something I'm reading this new book. It's basically called Who Not How. That's a different story, paraphrasing the name of the book, but it's by Dan Sullivan, and it's really interesting. And there's a section where he actually talks about procrastination. And obviously, where you and I have kind of been through the ringer of going from people that procrastinated to, at some points, very high degrees
Yeah.
to people that have realized the power of doing things now instead of letting them stack up. And so I really wanted to dive into the topic of procrastination, but not just procrastination as a broad topic, very specifically the mental acuity or direction that it takes to be aware of procrastination, the internal conversations that we have, and then how you've overcome that in the past. Because I think that is something where, people talk about this in very broad subjects. Procrastination is terrible. Okay, well, like, how do you get over it? Like, it's not just one day you wake up and all of a sudden you're a little bit, you're just so much better and you push nothing else out. Talk to me about your thought processes, your evolution of getting through procrastination, how it still sticks with you today in your jobs, multiple hats, and what you are trying to improve in your procrastination as you look forward.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think there's a couple of maybe like big overarching things that I think people should know about. And one is procrastination is not always bad. And I think that's important to keep in mind because as you increase awareness to your tendency to procrastinate, taking it one step further and saying, why do I not want to do this thing? And sometimes there is an element, small times, but they're important where something just doesn't quite feel right. Like maybe this isn't aligned actually with my goals or where I want to be intentional with my time. And so am I procrastinating because there's something bigger going in the background that I want to or should spend time thinking about. And then, so that's one. And then I think the first major step is just the awareness of procrastination because a lot of people just go through their day and they kind of shove out things. I'll do that later. It can wait till tomorrow, almost subconsciously. And so, as you work to increase awareness of actual procrastination, I think you go, oh my gosh, I actually do hear this inner dialogue way more frequently than I probably thought I did. And once you start to hear it, it's really hard to unhear it, number one. But number two is it allows you then to say, okay, I've heard the voice. I'm going to take immediate action. I think Cody Sanchez says if you can, or maybe it's Alex Shimozi, if you can do it in 5 minutes, you should do it right now. Or if it's, I can't do it in 5 minutes, I can take 5 minutes to schedule it into my day when I can dedicate that focus time. And so I think there's this perception that if you procrastinate, you have to, one, it's bad. Two, I have to do it now. And I think there's almost a decision tree that you have to work through in your mind. And as you get better at it, you pick up the pace and you become more efficient in categorizing things that I can do right now and take care of, and then I don't have to think about it. And two, I need to take the 5 minutes and slot it in because it is actually important and I need to be able to put focused effort towards it. So that's been my biggest lessons, I think, that I've learned in how to deal with procrastination. And then I think lastly is it's probably never going to go away. There will always be some element in your life of some area that you procrastinate. And I've noticed different things pop up, in my journey of hesitation, whether it's just fear or I feel like it's going to be a lot of work or it's cold out. I don't want to go outside and do my workout, but keeping in mind that it's never going to go away. And what you're trying to do is build the discipline to address your internal dialogue around procrastination.
Hmm. Have you seen that impact smaller versus bigger tasks or items, or has it just been in general like, hey, I just became aware and all of a sudden now I'm making better decisions because I'm aware of a decision tree regardless of the impact or size of the job?
I would say both. I think when it comes to smaller items, the ability to to think through very quickly. I can get this done in 5 minutes, check it off, like get it done, has allowed me to get more efficiency in my days because I don't pile them at the end of the day or push them later in the week. I just tackle them as they come because I know now through the habit of consistency that I can just get these off. But then there's the bigger things that, I have also seen that stacking occur where it's like, well, if I take this 5 minutes or this one thing that I would have procrastinated on and I do it every day for a week, I'm that much further towards my big goal. And so you start to stack that and see faster progress overall for some of those bigger things that you're working towards.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's fair, and the reason I was kind of thinking about this is my house is currently in disarray, and the mental capacity that we oftentimes don't realize impacts us is really important. I think people sometimes are just unaware or that it's unaccounted for, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
off, but I don't really know why. Like at one point, my desk is now shifted, but I mean, we were redoing our closet. I mean, I had clothes. I was like in a cave of clothes. Like it was ridiculous. It was like I had a background on my video because you couldn't see, so you couldn't see the clothes, but that impacted my ability to focus and concentrate. And then moving that more to the procrastination side, it was as we were doing things, I could continuously catch myself or my wife dealing with postponing certain situations. So it's
Mhm.
like we would take, sounds trivial, but this is the details of like becoming aware of what things impact you mentally and your productivity. And one of those is, we would take trash and then we would, okay, so we got to throw the trash out from the closet that we're cleaning out. Well, we put it on the edge of the bedroom and then it went into the hallway. And then it kind of went down to the base of the stairs. And then it kind of sat there in front of the garage for, a day or two. And then finally it got moved out into the garbage can. And it's like this huge process that literally should take 30 seconds to just take a bag, move it out to the trash can, get it out of the way, be done with it. I realize and still continuously face this is like just get it all the way to completion, right?
Yeah.
And there are certain things that you can't get all the way to completion right away, but can you set a time limit? Am I working on a website for an hour? Am I reading for 30 minutes? Am I doing physical activity for 45 minutes, right? You can compound those effects by saying, this is what I'm going to do, but just be aware that things that can be completed should be completed because those have unintended productivity and procrastination consequences that most oftentimes we're unaware of.
Yeah, I want it. So I think the awareness is really big. And I like the idea that you brought up about, your room being in chaos and redoing closets. And I think we're sort of similar. So if there are things in my background, like let's say if my kitchen is dirty, I have a really hard time focusing on something else because I have this nagging thing in the back of my mind that it's messy. I don't like it. I can't focus for whatever reason. And that has come through an awareness of I can take 5 minutes and get it cleaned up. And then I mentally can make the shift and know that I'm focused. But there are also times when the way that my day is stacked is it's not actually feasible to address that.
Yeah.
And I've had to learn to mentally block that part of distraction to allow me to not procrastinate on the things that I need to get done. So I think there's two different ways to look at it is can I take care of it right now? Like you said, can I get it all the way to the completion and get the garbage all the way out? And if you can't, what tools have you built and what discipline have you built to be able to make that separation that allows you to still be focused on the things that you need to get done and not allow something in the background to distract you?
Yep. Yeah, 100%. Well, I know we're at time, so trying to be cognizant. This was a short and sweet one, but appreciate your time.
Yep.
Good
Always
topic. We'll
fun.
dive back in next week.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks.
Bye.